Right, guys, welcome back to the Beautiful Struggle podcast with myself, Jay Davis, aka Magic Eye, aka No Limits Online Coaching, and we are back in the studio at this could be the new studio actually, up at the Train by JP gym. We are in the posing room, makeshift studio, and I'm joined today by a very special guest indeed. Now, for anyone that's followed the podcast for the number of years that it's been going, I've always focused on the cream of the crop in terms of the athletes that we look up to, get inspired by, follow along. And I think it's time to take a slight shift with the podcast in terms of the people that I get on, because I want to show more of the guys behind the scenes, behind the stage or beyond the stage. See what I did there? So this person today has taken the industry by storm this last, I'd say 12 to 18 months, and it's been incredible to witness. Fast becoming, I would say, the number one outlet for bodybuilding news, fitness news, anything related in the industry, whether that be positive or negative. All stories are covered, and I think right now in bodybuilding, a lot of these media outlets are getting slated for, putting out a lot of negative content. But this person in particular definitely covers everything. So there's as much good as there is the bad, but ultimately the bad only comes down to the athletes themselves and how they conduct themselves. So, if they aren't conducting themselves in a certain manner, they have to expect those stories to be covered, much like any other sport in the UK or in the world. So without further ado, that's my intro, that's my ramble. I'd like to introduce Suki, aka BTS TV, to the Beautiful Struggle podcast.
Bro, that introduction is far too kind. Too kind.
It's well earned, bro. It's well earned because we've known each other a long time, before anything, which is where everyone knows you for now, that you were doing. And, to see the transition from when I originally saw you, which we didn't really know each other, but I knew who you were. And then when we worked together, very early days of another venture, which we'll go into if you want.
Yeah, I remember.
And then just become who you are now. It's really cool to see, and it's very relatable for me, just because of when we spoke off camera, the pivoting between lanes, but within the same genre, the same world, you're just pivoting. So it's epic to see, man. So just, off the bat, just well done for everything, because it's been class to see.
Look, let me reciprocate the compliment, because I want to congratulate you on obviously his unbelievable 2025. Obviously getting that major overall regional win at Two Bros, which is no small feat, especially at that time of season when you were competing. Of course, getting the PTA Pro card was unbelievable at the British. Yes, you did get the result you wanted at Masters, but I think everyone can see the progression you've made over years has been phenomenal. Not just that, but also what you built on the social media side, the content creation, your profile within the industry itself has excelled. So many congratulations on all the success, mate. Well, very well deserved. I hope people give you credit, player credit for what you're doing, because it's phenomenal work. You're doing amazing.
Thank you, bro. Much appreciated. And I'm almost going to tear up there. I'm an emotional guy.
Calm down, man. Calm down.
Doesn't take a lot to get me going. But no, that's incredible. And, thank you because I remember saying before I started that prep last year, I wonder if I'll get a little shout out on BTS TV, because I could see what was happening with it, how it was bubbling, and I did. So thank you for that. So one of the it's the gift and the curse getting that shout out. You get a little bit of pressure on top of you then when you get that. So, but it is a very cool moment to have.
It is becoming a little bit more rare to do the shout outs. So it's definitely a focus for myself to make sure that I don't take my eye off the amateur ranks, because of course now the page is becoming so global, which I'm sure we'll talk about.
Yeah, definitely. So I'm not sure how much you want to delve into it, because like I said, I've known you for, I'm not even sure what year it was that we actually worked together first. You probably know the date, the year.
2017, the Swansea show.
Yeah,
yes.
So NFM UK, yeah?
Yes.
So those that don't know, Suki was the man behind NFM UK, which, did grow to become one of the major players in the federations in the UK as well. So that was 2017. Was that the first ever show that you did when I filmed it?
Yeah, it was only supposed to be a one-off show. I remember
right.
that show because it was completely free for anyone to compete in. But I remember that show. Well, it was one of my favorite experiences because it was in Swansea. You were part of it doing the film. We did a phenomenal job with regard to the promo video. It was really well received, completely sold out. And I remember I did another one in Derby, which was a complete flop.
Oh, really?
That was when I was like, oh my God, maybe it's a one-hit wonder. I might even do this again.
Yeah.
However, I got told to do it. And then, of course, I ran the shows for a few years. I do feel I probably ran the shows maybe 1 or 2 years more than I probably should have, because I could start seeing a decline in the numbers. I was already start thinking ahead about what next, and I was thinking about a news outlet, but it didn't really come into place until 2024. When you with the strength of the PCA and the NPC in the UK was growing, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It became a big fight in trying to get competitors to compete at your shows. I think something a lot of federations have noticed over the years. So, one of my regrets has always been not starting the BTS outlet sooner.
Yeah.
I do wonder what it'd be like if I did start it something like 2023 or 2022, especially having a few extra years of the Chris Bumstead era. I do wonder, oh my God, if I did exactly what I'm doing right now, a few years earlier, where would I be?
Because it was like still a thought in your head at that time as well.
I was already thinking about, I could see the decline, I could see how much more work it was to put on a show, and the disappointment when you start seeing refunds and cancellations and the stress of putting on a show itself. I was thinking God, I'm not enjoying it as much as I used to. I do feel like the hey years were 2019, 2021, obviously 2020 was COVID.
Yeah.
But 2023 is when it was starting to become very, very taxing, very hard work. I slowly started to lose enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
Still trying to give it my all, especially for the athletes, competitors that pay their way, because in the end, they are the ones that's making it happen, and you need to give 100% to them.
Yeah.
But to be honest, I was already had an eye elsewhere.
1 foot in, 1 foot out kind of thing.
Yeah, and 2024, it was really beginning to show. I could definitely tell. I could see people saying, "Oh God, the organisation or maybe the venues just wasn't as strong as was before." And I think that's when, because I was taking my eye off, it started to impact maybe the athlete experience, and that's poor for myself. It should never get to that point. And when it's starting to get to that point, maybe that's when I'll start thinking, okay, I can't let it damage my reputation or damage the experience of the athletes. They deserve better.
Yeah.
And of course, that's when September 2024, I decided that would be my last show.
Yeah, that's fairly honest of you there, though, to say, you took your eye off the ball a little bit and you could see the decline in it.
I gotta be honest. Because it was noticeable. It was noticeable. I remember some of the venues I was going, they just weren't at the level of the Athena in Leicester.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to the Hangar, but it was very different
Is
to
the
Athena, the Wolverhampton
man,
Hangar. I remember a couple of people had their cars broken into outside, and it was cold. And that's it. And I was so focused on trying to make sure that it was sustainable that all of a sudden I was damaging the athlete experience when it comes to the venue, even the trophies or the look of it. It's just, like I said, I took my eye off. The experience was being damaged, and at that point, you've got to think of doing the right thing, and the right thing is that it can't continue if you're going to not give the athletes the right experience.
Yeah, it's admirable that you can actually be honest about it. So prior to NFM UK, because this is my first memory of you, is wearing a USN tank top at Body Power. Because I don't know how I knew who you were, but that's my original memory. So you did compete back in the day.
Yeah, so I remember 2012 was my first experience of bodybuilding. I met Greg Plitt at Body Power, the glory years of Body Power, and I was fortunate to win this competition as Mr. England, to compete in Mr. International in Thailand, which was 2 weeks all expenses paid, and that was with Ryan Terry, who was the 2010 winner. So we got to know each other that way, and that was the decision I made to then decide to compete, where I was second place for like 4 shows, never ever got a win.
Right.
Like only second place.
Is that because Ryan was first?
Oh no! Forget Ryan. This was any UK BFF show.
Okay.
Look, I wasn't anything unique or anything special. I was never going to go pro. I really feel like I brought a very good package in 2016, but that was my final show at the Flex Lewis Classic, which was I've always wanted to finish. I tried to finish my career there. God, second place. I finished my stint in competing at the Flex Lewis show because he is obviously my idol. So that was my last show. Another second place, and at that point I was like,
bowed out.
No more competing for me.
Yeah. So, but you've always had an interest in fitness. So where did has that always been a thing? Like since you were young? Like
I mean, obviously, I've always been involved in combat sports. I compete in karate at a high level. Same with boxing as well.
Yeah.
Gym, just your average gym goer, and then of course when Body Power was a big one. That was the big one. People like Greg Plitt, Rob Richards, Kirk Miller, Steve Cook, all these the OG names. Absolutely, these names that people are gonna have to.
They won't even know.
You have to Google images. But these ones are the ones that really impacted me in such a positive way, and I miss those days. I mean, obviously those days, Body Power was fantastic during that era. Right now, a lot of people get inspiration through social media. YouTube, it's great that Arnold is back in the UK. So hopefully that will also have the same impact they had for me on a younger generation. I mean, of course, I was very fortunate then to have some very good sponsorship deals. Muscle Tech, the first UK athlete to be involved with them. UK athlete. I call myself.
Man. Everyone else calls myself an athlete these days.
I remember, that was when Phil Heath was there. So that was really cool. And then, of course, 2016, I joined USN, which was just completely by luck.
Right.
I just remember I decided to walk out on Muscle Tech on the last day of Body Power 2016, but I was just sick and tired of it was just poorly organised. Had a great deal, but still just wasn't right. And I remember just walking to the USN stand, that big booming USN stand at Body Power, they'll drop, a couple of 100K on that load.
Huge stands.
I just remember, just by luck, the one person I was talking to was the manager director of USN who just happened to be there for 20 minutes. And he then passed me the contact details for the athletes manager. We arranged a meeting. I created this marketing deck about myself, about how I want to try and get more people in the Indian community, the Asian community, into bodybuilding. And I remember I had a 2-hour meeting and we signed a deal there and then. And I then obviously became a USN athlete.
So who were you at the time of USN or around that time? Was Bonac with them around that time?
Bonac, Ryan, Tom Coleman, Max, Dave Titterton,
that was
Zaki.
like the heyday of USN.
Mate, that was the big four when it comes to UK ones. Like they were the ones that were just everywhere when it comes to magazines. So to have that association at USN when they're at their highest was really humbling. Yeah.
So you were like, we're going to say athlete. I know we don't like to need to call you an athlete, but you're an athlete.
Cringe.
If I'm calling myself an athlete, you are, right? So you were an athlete with USN around that time. So then you said NFM UK was 2017.
Yeah.
So the transition from athlete to show promoter, how did that come about?
I just had an idea. I just wanted to put on the show. I think I've always enjoyed doing events. I've always enjoyed trying to create something from scratch. I just came up with this idea. I remember I did this. I put something on Facebook to say, like, guys, going to do a meetup for anyone who wants to compete at this first ever show. Meet at Peppermint in Swansea. I had a room booked upstairs, like 6 p.m.
Yeah.
And I had about 120 people turn up.
Just rammed.
120 people
turn up. It's a
small
venue, Peppermint,
that's it.
As well, isn't it?
Exactly, just to hear me talk about this potential show. Because this show was only focused around the Swansea audience, the Swansea geographical location. And out of 120, with about 60 people choose to compete. And it was absolutely incredible. It was like the whole town, city, what is it? It's Swansea. Yeah, it's a city, right?
Swansea's a pretty shitty city.
Okay,
okay.
I know. I remember when I first went to Swansea, someone picked me up and said it was a graveyard of ambition.
Yeah.
It always stuck with me.
You'd expect it to be like mint because it's on the coast, but no, it's a pretty shitty city.
Not been there for years, even though I've got a property over there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was very well supported by the community. A lot of businesses got involved, the media, and it had really, really good coverage. I just remember it was the talk of the city. I had police had to get involved because people were just parking on the roads, blocking people's driveways. We sold way too many tickets that we broke all fire regulations.
Roadblock.
never really. I mean, I guess there was one show that really got to that scale, but that's always been a highlight.
So were you still kind of juggling being an athlete and that at that time, or did you kind of fizzle off from?
No, I had a full-time job. Yeah, I've always had a full-time job, office role, whatever I was doing. It was never this was all, whatever I've always done has always just been a passion project.
Yeah, that actually leads me into a question I had through on Instagram, which is with your role now with BTS TV, is that your sole thing, or do you also have an additional?
No. This will always remain just a passion project. I've got a full-time role, head of a sales division for Olymp Nutrition. So obviously Olymp based in Poland, but I focus on UK market. So that is my full-time role. That's my bread and butter. And this has always been a side project that I can try and build around it in the after hours and everything else.
So I guess like that brings us up to current speed now, where we're at now with that segue. So BTS TV, is it just you, or do you have a team?
I know every time I always say like we, but it is just me. Everything I do is all on me when it comes to the content, the videos. Yeah, everything is just a one-man show,
one-man band. Because it's impressive. Because I know, like with the time difference around the world, I know how difficult it is for me, whether I've done podcasts with people or just getting on calls with clients, etc., to arrange your times. But you're on the stories, like, do you sleep?
That has always been the biggest difficulty of trying to make this brand global, because the reality is the majority of bodybuilding stories will happen in North America, and therefore minimum we are 5 hours ahead, at most 8 hours.
Yeah.
So even like when they drop the lineups on a Monday night for the upcoming weekend, you look at 11 or midnight UK time, and if you're not first, you're joint last. Yeah. And if you're not within the first 20 minutes, hour, then already other outlets have already posted, and the majority of these outlets already America-based. So that's been a challenging one. I know this year it's a big focus on myself to grow the North America audience and adjust my sleep pattern on the weekends to make sure I can report on these North America shows, starting with Detroit Pro this weekend.
Yeah. So is that quite taxing on family life for you to be doing that with those
Fortunately,
hours?
I have a very understanding wife.
We all
yes, it. I mean, look, if she wasn't happy, she'll tell me.
Yeah.
And she has told me on numerous occasions, especially when I'm just looking on my phone, when maybe it's a slow day, I'm trying to find some news, because I like to try and make sure that there is a regular amount of content going out each day. Fortunately, she is very understanding. Yeah. I'm also self-aware enough to know that if I am taking the piss, I don't want this to impact my day-to-day relationships, not just with my wife, but if I go away with family or on holiday. But they do also understand that I am so driven to make this work that I have to ensure that I don't miss. I remember there was one occasion, I'll tell you what, this absolutely killed me. It absolutely killed me. Of all the times, I was doing a podcast episode with Matt Parker, and we're doing like a men's fatigue review of a recent show. And I had my phone. I turned it over. I was like, okay, that's it. I don't want no distractions. And an hour passed. We finished. And I turned my phone around. My phone was blowing up. I must have had like 10 WhatsApp messages. I was like, what the fuck's happened? And I clicked. I was like, Suki, how have you missed it? I was like, oh, shit.
No.
Chris Bumstead's just announced he's doing the Open of Prague. Out of all the news to miss, Chris Bumstead announcing that he's doing the Open. And I just remember, this is Bumstead.
Yeah.
Everything's blowing up. By then, it's just gone everywhere. And it's one of those, you pride yourselves on always trying to be first. And when you do miss a big story like that, you're like, never again.
Yeah.
Which is why my phone is facing up. Because I know I'm supposed to get a message late today from Hardy C, but he's definitely doing a UK show.
Well, if you get a message, mate.
In fact, that was an email right there. And
feel free to drop it on you.
I mean, whether this comes out, but Yeah, I always keep my phone up now.
This will drop Monday, so if anything comes through and you're going to announce,
that's it. Yeah,
feel free to put it on. Yeah.
I mean, this is a good thing as well. How the channel's grown. I'm very fortunate now that people come to me with the news. As in, like, I'm going to be dropping this very soon. So, like, right now, I'm sitting on a lot of news when it comes to people doing, New York Pro or Pittsburgh or other announcements for different shows. And I think that's. I hope that's a good indication that I'm trying to always be respectful to the athletes, where they can trust me to sit on news and not feel the need to throw something out there just to get clicks straight away.
That shows your morals, mate. Because, I'm sure there are many, many news outlets, if they got hold of something like that, they drop the story just to get the clicks. So that just shows your morality there.
That's it. I mean, look, the bigger picture, because I'm trying to build my relationship with not just the athletes, but the NPC, IFBB Pro League.
The trust,
is that we spoke before, knowing that I've had a bit of a turbulent relationship because of how I started the channel. And to be fair, that's also one of my biggest learnings of how I started it, that I did things probably not the right way. It was definitely, I had to make a decision on the direction I was going with the channel to allow myself to make sure that the channel can become global, but also that it can be the best it can be.
Yeah. And it's definitely on that path now. I compare it to my role with like Magic Eye. I've used this phrase, I'm like a bodybuilding barber, where, you're behind the scenes, so you're hearing every story that they don't want the world to hear. So you're kind of keeping it in here, locked up. And then you're trying to remember what you can talk about and can't talk about. And that's probably similar to where you are with these stories you're getting told, We spoke off camera about, one or two bits there, and it's like you could get so much traffic with that. And it's, you can get so much traffic, but at the same time, my God, if you did it once for somebody, like, I don't know, let's say you share a message that was a screenshot that was sent to you, then not just is that damaging your reputation with that individual person, but anybody else will be thinking, well, that's it, I'm not going to send super anything. You might screenshot, you might send the same thing out there. Like, I try to always ask, permission, on things. I mean, my God, the Arnold, Ohio, so much bullshit was going out that weekend. The whole Mike Sommerfeld is doing the Open. Yeah. I mean, people were posting that because it's a massive headline. Everybody was posting it. My sources is Mike himself, is Neil Hill, is the judges. Yeah. And that's when I remember I waited a good 4 hours before I did a post to say, Mike is not doing the Open, he's not doing the Arnold Classic, full stop. Same with the Hardy. After the Arnold Classic, all the rumors about Hardy's retiring because they saw it on an Iranian channel, which was already anti-Hardy. Yeah. And then, of course, the next day, my source was Hardy Chupan's team. And I asked them, and it took them about 8 hours to come back to me, but they did. Yeah. It's the reality. So it's very easy to put misinformation and then be seen as an unreliable source and just take any news anywhere just because you just want clicks, even though it might result in the misinformation and also your reputation be damaged. It won't last then, will it? It won't. This vision you've got for it lasting and growing to what you want it to become, it would never get to that point if you start doing those things. Because people will, you burn so many bridges that you're just reliant on them just taking news from other outlets. I want to try and get news from the athletes themselves, where they tell me because they want that to be part of their announcement. That will always be the foundation of, can I just keep that trust with the athletes? I've made mistakes 100% while doing BTS, and I've learned the hard way of how costly a mistake like that can be. So I'm thankful for those mistakes as well, because that's really BTS. I mean, you said obviously, it's been huge for like 12, 18 months. I would say since September last year was really where it started to make waves. Yeah. Well, obviously with all the miles I do, I'm always watching podcasts, and whenever the guys are looking for news or whatever, they used to go to other channels. Straight to you now. You're like the first one they go to. So that just shows your place in the game. Yeah, I obviously, like, I remember when I had this idea of BTS, it was because I was bored of the media outlets where it was, okay, Nia Darwin has just posted a picture. Let's grab the picture, we'll just post it on the page,
and there's a caption and that's it.
Yeah.
It's just recycled posts with no substance, no hype, no interest. And the aim was always to kind of give it that ESPN, WWE, Sky Sports vibe. Build hype, lead it into something, build the narratives, build the storylines. Arnold, Ohio. What I was doing there was, little things like filming Wesley and Sam Sulek as they walk into the weigh-in. It's the weigh-in. Will they make weight? Like the Sam Sulek video got like 5 million views. But things like that. And then, of course, backstage, as they arrive, it's like UFC fighters or boxers as they come in. Remember that whole Chris Eubank coming in for with just walking out. That was one of the biggest videos. It was just kind of show it's building up the hype, the excitement before they step on stage. So all the stuff that's happened backstage, behind the scenes, beyond the stage, no pun intended. But that was always the idea. How do I make it a bit more exciting to add hype that also supports promoters to drive live stream buys, pay-per-view buys? That was the whole point, to build that excitement. And I just feel like it has been achieving that. I know there's a lot more we can do. So that's it. That's a big focus, to always just make sure that when it comes to someone who's on Instagram, that two things happen. One, you go on your Instagram and the first thing on your feed is BTS, or you're like, it's been a few hours, I wonder what the news is. Let me go on the BTS page to see what I missed. Yeah,
I would say you are that source now, definitely, for anyone that needs that information. And I think you've gained the recognition from, obviously the athletes and stuff as well, but just the federations. You did work closely with Two Bros this year with your event. Yeah, I mean, the federation thing, I know. Look, I've seen plenty of messages like, "Oh, Suki's sold out. He's just doing NPC to the IFBB." I remember at the start, I was doing all the federations, and I was just nowhere near sustainable. I mean, how many federations are there in the UK? What, 15, 16? On some weekends, you may have 6 or 7 shows, not to mention the independent shows. And I was there like just non-stop, like looking, okay, the winners of this federation, winners of this federation, what's happening. Like, that's just not, oh my God. I mean, to do all of that, all the shows, and of course then you got the international shows as well. I remember doing that right at the start. And a lot of the focus was on the NPC, IFBB. I messaged some of these shows as well, like PCA. I said, oh, look, any chance we can have an interview? Didn't hear anything back because I just started out. Why would they return a message to me? And I remember there was a point where it got to about May where I remember Ryan Terry gave me a call, and he was like, look, Suki, the IFBB NPC aren't happy because, like, you talk about them, but you also talk about other shows. I get it because, it's cross promotion. Yeah, I would imagine the same for PCA or other federations would say that. I remember I had to really make a decision of like the direction for the BTS. Do I keep going, doing all the federations, which is very difficult to try and just, I said, all weekends, I'll just try and watch all these shows, which is already impacting my own personal life. Or do I make a decision and look at the bigger picture? The bigger picture is, if you ask anybody in bodybuilding, what is their aspiration? I guess the majority would say they'll love to an IFBB Pro, because that is kind of the gold standard of the highest level. Course, no offense to anything else. And that's what I was like, okay, I need to move I need to focus purely on NPC IFBB, but I need to rebuild this relationship. That took a while to a point where now I'm in a good position with them. Yeah. No, it's, I think, just from outside looking in, it was definitely the right move. And obviously with your event that you did, coincided with NPC and Two Bros and that lot in the UK as well. That seemed to do really well. Did it do what you wanted it to do? Man, I'll tell you what, man, right at the start, I was like, I think it was 9:30, I was like, where the hell are people? On here, I've got 800 people supposed to arrive. And I remember kept walking in and out of the venue thinking, where is everyone? Yeah. Why is everyone turning up? Squeaky one time. It's raining. I was like, about a month before the event, Derby County game got moved to the same day at like 12:30. A TV game was sold out. All the parking spaces were taken. But thankfully, when the big seminar kick took place, which was Samson, Ryan, and Shelley, then all of a sudden everyone started arriving. Yeah. And though there's plenty of things to take from it and how to improve for next time, it was definitely a success.
the feedback was super positive. I know it's something I've always wanted to put on. We see all these NPC seminars over in the US, all the pros get involved. And I guess that's something I've really got to shout out. The guys, the pros, really did support it. They did not need to give their time for free to support the event, but they did. And everyone from Olympia levels to newly crowned IFBB pros, or those who are challenging for Olympic qualification, they all very much support the event, and it's hugely appreciated. And look forward to doing it again next year.
Do you think your previous event experience from NFM UK played this role?
I mean, it's something I've always missed, and that's why I wanted to do the event. I mean, there is a potential to do another event in the summer at the at Gymshark HQ, but I'm in two minds on whether the timing of it will be right, because people will be deep in prep, especially if they're doing Olympia. So I do miss doing the events. It's definitely a lot different from doing the events I did before, when you're scrounging for athletes, hoping that people will turn up, compared to doing an event that's NPC IFBB affiliated. It's a lot easier to get people involved.
Yeah. It all made sense when you kind of stood back and looked at it then.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's cool, mate. So with the growth of BTS, you said obviously you've got a vision for it. Is that going to involve bringing people on? Is that something you?
I got asked that so many times. Like, would I bring people on? And it's so difficult because
do you get people trying to be involved?
Yeah, I do, but it's like for yourself. With yourself as a coach, if you want to expand and bring on other coaches to kind of learn from you and be part of the team, you're going to have a certain guideline, ethos, a level that you want people to operate. And my bar is so high that if you don't achieve that level, then it's detrimental to the BTS brand. Like Arnold Classic, I'm up at 6 a.m. I am at the event till midnight. I am back editing videos, content for the next day, because I know I get it done, because next day is complete. So I'm getting new stuff. Like I need to get better at this, but the lack of eating at these events, lack of water, because can you make that decision when you're halfway through, it's just a normal conversation with Phil Heath, but you see an opportunity to interview someone that you haven't done an interview yet. Can you cut that conversation with Phil just to go and talk to someone else? And they're the hard decisions you have to make. And I get people contact me all the time to be a part of it. Definitely, it will be required for international shows, especially ones in North America. I know I am looking at things with promoters over there. The shows I can't make, Texas, New York, Tampa. The promoter can you give me someone who's volunteering backstage to maybe get some clips, and they can send to me, and then I can get the content out. I think it could work that way. So that is something I do need to look at, because the reality is it's definitely not sustainable to keep doing what I'm doing. But at the moment, I might try to just keep pushing the boundaries until I get close to burning out.
Do you watch boxing? You just mentioned Chris Eubank Jr. You watch IFL TV?
Of course. Yeah, I know where you're going with this. How Coogan's expanded to bring on more people. You don't see Coogan as in front of the camera as much. He's still the man, but he's got Colin and all the other guys as part of it. And as a reference, I do use, and that is a format I do look at, that blueprint of how he started, how he expanded, bring other people on. It's definitely something to think about when the time is right. I do feel that the BTS brand can be pushed much further before I start bringing people on.
Yeah, I mean, financially, that it comes down to that as well, doesn't it? So
that's it. I mean,
you're still it's a passion project, and I know what passion projects don't really bring the return sometimes, but I'm sure you don't. Obviously, I'm not asking you to reveal details on you, but it's getting to the point where you are kind of getting justified for the work that you're putting in from it.
100%. I mean, look, I remember last year I kind of brought some smaller brands involved, which I'm so thankful for their support. 100%. I'm not going to look down at any of them. I remember September last year is when. Sorry, I saw a message, but it's not.
That's all right. Keep checking, man.
I remember Gymshark reached out in September, and then more and more brands reach out, major brands, and to the point when really revenue-wise, yes, I can do this full-time if I wanted to, but I don't need to. I don't have to. I want to keep it as a passion project because it's something I love doing. The moment it just becomes full-time is maybe when you start seeing things a bit differently. Maybe you're looking at the numbers differently. So I want to keep it how it is at the moment. There's a lot of opportunities that keep coming up. The fact that now I've got show partnerships with Shrew Classic in India, so they're sending me out there. I've got the Dubai one where they're sending me out to Dubai to get plenty of opportunities that coming to me to come to these shows and partnerships that could work, and some I'm looked down at thinking, okay, I don't see how it can. I definitely need to start thinking. I say I got a bigger picture. I definitely need to start looking forward and creating a plan of maybe where could this look in 3 years, 5 years time. Right now, I'm kind of looking at like, how do I want it to end this year? But I probably need to start looking at, okay, what do I need to do to make this sustainable for the next 3 to 5 years? And then what do I need to do in regards to bringing people on to ensure that the quality of service I'm providing doesn't decline based on burnout or based on taking your eye off the board. I saw it with NFM. Which that's it. I learned there. I know when the quality can diminish. For example, I get messages all the time asking, why am I not doing enough for UK athletes, UK amateurs, UK pros? And there is an element of truthfulness to that as well. I do think I could do a lot more in regards to highlighting the amateur competitors, which is why I will try and do, like IFBB Pro prospects. I've noticed when I do something like that, that person's following does go up because it puts them in a limelight for a global audience. So I do believe I can do better to support the amateur ranks, and also definitely want to do something like how the Brazilian outlets support their own when it comes to pro competitors. I need to do the same as well for the guys and girls who are IFBB Pro, and make sure that I am putting the microscope on them when it comes to show days or even leading up to the show.
In the UK, with the UK scene.
Look, at the end of the day, BTS is a UK media outlet. The moment you start forgetting about your own is the moment you're going in the wrong direction. Yes, of course, the big names are global. And yes, they'll always, if Dino drops an update, that's got to be, takes priority. But at the end of the day, you also want to be part of hopefully playing a small part in growing the bodybuilding community within your own geographical location. Even though it might be minuscule, it could still play a positive role, and that is highlighting the talent that we have here in the UK.
What is going on, people? Jumping in this podcast to let you know about our incredible sponsors, Trained by JP, aka TBJP, the one-stop shop for all your bodybuilding needs. Whether you're looking for supplements or clothing, they have it all. Quite possibly the biggest range of subs you will find anywhere in the world, end of. Whether you're looking for pre-workouts, stim-free or high stim, intra-workout shakes, post-workout cream of rices, vegan supplements, it is all there for you, as well as the highest grade of health subs that you will need in your arsenal. Check them out. It's www.tb-jp.com, and on there you will also find all the clothing which they release multiple times per year, but get your hands on them quick because they are limited drops. Use the discount code MAGIC10 for money off. Help the brother out, and let's get back to the podcast. Peace. I think you do a good job of it, man. I mean, I know you say you could do more, but I might be a little bit biased because I was involved in a lot of the hype towards the shows last year with the British and everything, so I feel a certain way about it. But I feel like you do put a lot of like the spotlight on the UK guys. But you know, it's always, we can always do more, right?
Exactly. That's it. It's always, like I say, it's always self-aware enough to believe, to know that can you do things better? And the reality is, yes, there are areas that I can do better. There are areas which I'm doing just fine. I feel that I'm doing enough. But on the UK side, I do feel that I can do some more. Try and maybe do, and I guess this goes with the fact that now I'm going to be working closer with Two Bros going into 2026. That gives me the opportunity now to really do a lot more when it comes to highlighting the UK athletes, especially the ones that turn pro in the UK, or the guys and girls that compete on the UK side, let alone internationally. Hopefully that will be noticeable
Yeah. Get some of those IFL TV interviews at the British and everything when they get off stage.
That's exactly what we're doing, mate. 100%. Those reactions are key.
Yeah, because they tried to do it. Well, I used to film all the content for them.
I remember, yeah.
And Justin used to try and do it. But I think, obviously because you are the media guy now, I think the content would come across so much more organically for you. And I think because you're, like BTS was like the logo and everything, but now since you've kind of come from behind the curtain a little bit with jumping on with Fuad and putting your kind of face out there, I think people will be a lot more like accepting of talking to you post show, whereas if they get off stage and they've got some guy they don't know.
Yeah, see this random guy, scruffy, backward cap, yeah.
But like Suki from BTS TV, they're going to be straight over there. One thing I did want to ask you a bit earlier on, BTS TV, the name.
Yeah.
Obviously, behind the scenes. But how easy was it to come up with a name for it?
And for me, it was about like have a name where it could mean something else, and also it's a name that people use all the time. So, for example, people might do a post that says like BTS, like behind the scenes for their prep, but because they see BTS, it becomes synonymous with the media outlet beyond the stage. So you might think, oh, is this BTS beyond stage related? Well, it's not. It's complete something else. So that was the whole point. How do I take advantage of something that's already out there that people could link it back to beyond the stage? So when people say BTS, you think of behind the scenes. But now, of course,
it's a smart move.
It's about how do I maximize brand awareness, advertising at no cost, and utilize other people to do it for me. And the phrase BTS makes sense.
Pretty simple when you put it like that, but to come up with that idea is pretty smart. Moving on to like more recently, you and Fuad joining forces.
Yes.
I've done a little bit of work with Fuad through the years with Magic Eye and did the podcast down in London and stuff. So it was a cool partnership to see, because obviously I've been trying to get a podcast done with Fuad for a while, but he's going through what he's going through, and we have spoke quite a bit about it. So he's just chilling for now. But to see, I would say Fuad has fast become, I know Bob is like the voice of bodybuilding, but Fuad's become the voice of bodybuilding, I would say, worldwide with the podcast and his role in the industry. And I believe that you are also stepping into that lane as well. I think I saw someone call you the voice of bodybuilding across the weekend. So, for you to be put in that or put on that pedestal, I definitely believe it. So it just made perfect sense for you guys to kind of marry up and do the content. How did that like initial conversation go? Was it him? I think I seen you said he was fanboying over you or something. I think you were taking a piss here. Like.
I was just taking a piss. No, it was at Olympia. To be fair, it was at the Olympia. I remember I was just in the foyer and I was talking to Ian, and then Fuad reached out to me. He did say, "Oh, so I'd be meaning to. We got to arrange a chat. I've got an idea. I would like to talk to you about something." And we said, we exchanged our details. And then about a couple of weeks later, we arranged a call. He shared about this idea. I was kind of and thinking, I could see this working. And I thought, I'm self-aware enough to know that Fuad holds a prominent position within bodybuilding, that people care about his thoughts. They want to hear what he thinks about. That's why the bro chat and his channel has been so successful. Now, what can I bring? I could bring the media, the news, but also bring to light maybe some divisions he's never talked about: bikini, men's physique, fit model. I say that to know, completely lightly, but it's gone down really well. Like from just starting with a few thousand views, now averaging 10,000 views per episode. Crazy, and we're doing it every single day. That's always been the most difficult thing, trying to be consistent, because of course we're in 2 different time zones.
And the news isn't always there to cover, right?
Exactly, yeah. So we've got to make sure that at least 3 or 4 things we can cover. Thankfully, there's always plenty of news and drama to talk about within reason. So that's really given me a reason to kind of put myself in the limelight. It's always been something I want to say behind the scenes. And definitely be behind the scenes there. I want to say behind the scenes, don't put myself too much in the camera, which is like when I do interviews, it's always the camera facing them. I'm away, I'm not involved. So I remember since I've gone on, even at Arnold, Ohio, it was mad, because I was getting people stopped
Surreal.
me at the airport and even at restaurants at the expo, just saying that they're a big fan of the BTS channel, but also what I do with Fuad, which was great. It was very I've never experienced that.
Yeah.
And it was pleasing to see.
It was a surreal moment.
100%. I think it was a moment that just shows how far the channel has gone in such a short space of time. And like I said, I don't see it. September is really where it started to pick up, as in the affiliation and the partnership with the IFBB and Gymshark coming on board and everything else. That's where it started to make waves and start getting noticed by a lot of people. There was actually a moment at the Arnold Ohio which really hit me, and I rarely take compliments because I just so focus on how to make improvements, how to move forward. And I remember I was at Pro Gym on Wednesday night. Literally, I landed, and within half an hour, I went straight to Pro Gym to get a workout, but I also knew that a lot of the big names were going to be there. I was messaging Lee Priest. I said, look, let's just catch up for a drink as well. We'll go there. And I went there. And
Did you go for a drink as well then?
Yeah.
Of course, Lee Priest, isn't it?
And then I bumped into Jay Cutler. And Jay was, hey, Suki, BTS. And we spoke on a few occasions, but you never expect Jay to remember you. It's Jay Cutler. And he was like, you're doing amazing work. Congratulations on everything. Thank you. Did a little interview. I didn't take too much of it because I just thought, you know what? It's just we could say, you're doing great to anybody. Mm-hmm. But then there was a moment the next day, I was in the foyer at the Hilton, and everybody was there. And Jay Cutler came in. Then Jay was shouting over like, Suki, come here. And he was with Dexter. And he was like, Dexter, if you've got to do one interview, best media outlet out there, you got to do an interview with Suki. And that was when he told me that he was going to be inducted in the International Achievement Award they got. That was the first time the news broke. But the fact that Jay said that, like he didn't need to, but the fact that he said that out of the blue without me, instigating it, that really kind of told me that, it's gaining respect from people at the highest level. And that was a moment where I was like, okay, you know what, the brand is going in the right direction. It's gaining the recognition from a lot of hard work, and that was a good moment.
It's massively relatable for me when you're speaking about this, because I've been in, obviously not for like putting news out there, but with Magic Eye work, just being where I've been around the world at shows with athletes, whether I'm with Diasha or you or any of these guys. It could be like a random person you've never met, just knows me from the voice behind the camera when I'm speaking on the YouTubes or wherever. But even Cutler, like I've met Cutler a few times, and you remember, like I filmed his seminar down in Orpington last year, and then he knew me from like prior to that, and I was like, fuck, it's crazy. And like you said, it just shows you that the work you're putting in, you're doing your due diligence, and it's coming from an authentic place as well. Because, there's a lot of media outlets out there, like I said at the start, that will put the headlines out just to get the clicks, and they'll focus in on that. And we know exactly who they are, and I'm not going to give them kind of props on you for it. But I know I've seen like one or two things where they're name dropping your channel now, your feed, your business, to get clicks off the back of that, kind of saying that you didn't get that news from BTS, you got a year first, and all this shit. When I'm listening to it, I'm like, it's just not needed.
Just rewind back, because I want to give you some more recognition. Like, you did that interview with Samson and Mel. They're not going to do interviews with any random people. They did interview yourself and open up to yourself because they respect the work that you've done over a number of years, and that's because of the reputation you built over time. And that is exactly what you deserve, and that's why they chose, or they accepted, or the request, or they chose you to do that interview, especially Mel, to open up as well. So that shows that that hard work, the graft you've put in over years, that reputation is well known within the industry.
It's the same thing, man. Same thing. So I know you said you don't like to take compliments, but it's like, I'm talking about me, but throwing it back at you, because it's coming from an authentic place. And I think whenever something is coming from an authentic place, and the work is, obviously good, you're going to get the recognition for it, which you obviously are now because you've got some of the biggest names in the game. I mean, could you go back to 2017 where we did your show down in Swansea, and think back to there. Think of now, Jay Cutler calling you over in the reception to speak to Dexter Jackson to do an interview because you're the guy that needs to interview. You can't make it up.
Yeah. That, I mean, I guess on that side, because I know how hard I work. I know if I'm, and like, this goes to anybody. If you're passionate about something, you know how hard you're going to work to make certain things happen. So in a way, there is an element where I'm not surprised what's been achieved because I've done it already through previous projects. And I know how hard I work when I want to achieve something. And that's just because that drive and relentlessness to make sure it's the best it can be. And that's why I do believe that BTS is the number one media outlet in the world when it goes to bodybuilding. Because when I say in bodybuilding, it's because we cover all divisions. We cover everything. So therefore, technically, it is because there are a lot of media outlets that just focus on the marquee ones, the classic and open, because of course, that's the character brings us views. But I ensure that I cover everything. It may not be like wellness, fitness may get to the same amount as the open and the classic guys and the bikini best league, but they still get an element of reporting and recognition.
Yeah, fair play to you, man. Fair play to you. What I do want to touch on, just I can't not talk about it, is the whole drama and stuff that's going on in the industry at the moment. And I did watch you and Fuad's news update yesterday. I think it was from yesterday. And you and Fuad actually, I think, was the first time you got a little bit heated about the opinions being very different towards obviously what Martin's going through at the moment. Do you think it's very important for you to remain on your ground, stand your ground with those kind of topics? Or
I think you gotta have your own opinion. Otherwise, it just looks like that you're bringing the news, you're letting the person respond, and then you go on to the next one. No, even if you maybe not agree with a certain point, it's important to get your point across because that's how yourself as a personal brand gets recognized and understood that you do have a voice. I mean, the Martin thing. On one side, it's, look, punishment's been done. No more needs to be said on that. Let the guy go come back if he can when he wants to, and hopefully come back as a better person for it. Obviously, what we were talking about is the apology, and we have to just focus that, just the apology itself, and not Martin, the human side. I mean, like I said on the podcast, I just thought the apology was very weak.
Could have been more.
100%. I think when he is, one of the best bodybuilders in the world. Nobody can deny that he can be a future Mr. Olympia winner. I like I said to Fuad, I think what would have really helped his cause if it was a video of him talking, because you could tell on someone's tone of voice how sincere they are, putting himself in a comfortable position to talk about it, makes it more relatable as a human, that you then start to understand the person and maybe the reason why mistakes made, and you can not so much that person can not just move on, but the acceptance. It's very easy to put something on a text format and just put on there. Maybe it's done by ChatGPT, maybe it's not, but it's very easy to put something on text and then play out there. Doing a video I thought would be the right thing to do. The apology is there, so it's one step forward. It could be a much bigger leap if certain things were included, like an apology to Nick Walker. Yes, you can still hate somebody and still apologize, because that's not changing your thought process on the individual. I think given everything that's happened and the result of what happened to lose his sponsorship deals, that could have been the right way to go by it, to start, not the word redeem yourself, but as in put closure on everything that's happened. Because all that's happened now is people have just kind of tore apart the apology. And to be fair, maybe they would have done the same if it was a video. There's probably a large group of people that no matter what Martin does, they will attack him no matter what. But like I said, I think there was a better opportunity to try and do something that was a bit more sincere. Make sure you cover all points and all angles of what has been discussed over the past week, and that way let that go. I think that would be more impactful.
Yeah, I do hope that he can like rebuild off the back of that, and I don't mean like rebuild and just get back to what he was doing, but you know, obviously there's some like underlying things which everyone's spoke about, you know, about maybe speaking to someone or just some internal conversations or external conversations. You never know. Like I'm quite tight with Coops. Like he's doing his filming over there, which I haven't spoke to him, and I wouldn't really want to kind of delve into that with Coops anyway, and find out like what was said behind the scenes there. But just from a fan, you know, a fan of Martin, because like you said, incredible bodybuilder, and it's a shame to see someone not throw it all away, but just let things slip to where it's got to, really.
Yeah, exactly. I think majority of people would love to see him come back, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, I would love to see him come back to the Arnold UK. I mean, come back to Arnold UK, you know, don't talk, you know, let your actions speak all the words. But at the end of the day, if he comes back, and if he doesn't, it's on his decision. If he chooses not to come back, then it's on him.
Yeah.
He makes that decision. It's not the people who are on social media or, you know, the fans or anything like that. It all comes down to one person. That's Martin, and we all hope that Martin makes the right decision and not leave bodybuilding. Which is, you know, I've seen some people talk that he's looking to leave the sport completely. It'll be such a waste of a talent to disappear. And you know, he's built a following. I believe sponsors will come back in time. Even Fuad said that if he saw that Martin was open to making changes, going in that direction, that he can come back to hostile.
I saw that as well. That shocked me, that bit. Because obviously Fuad's, or hostile, is he put out there that he's moving in a different direction from looking for athletes. But the fact that he's put out there to say, you know, if Martin kind of changes direction, he'll take him back on as an athlete. That says a lot for what kind of Fuad sees in him as well.
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Look, he mentioned about giving people second, third, fourth chances. And I think because there is that relationship, or past relationship that he had with Martin, he's seen him, the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
And there is a part where he doesn't want to see a talent like that just disappear completely. And if there's an opportunity where he can help and the investment is right, then he would go that direction.
Yeah. For such a short career as well, you just mentioned highs and lows. There's been many highs and many lows in Martin's short-lived career so far. If you think about like from Pittsburgh, where it was not the greatest, then obviously Olympia and Prague was amazing, and then this now, it's just like...
Well, you can go further back. You can go further back to Arnold UK when Andrew Jack won. Yes, there has been a pattern. So when he says our character, that's not entirely true, because there is a pattern of what's been going on.
Yeah.
However, there is an element where it's like, but he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's a passionate guy.
Yeah.
I don't know the guy personally. I only know from what I see on social media. This is a guy. Do we really want to lose the characters, or that's why we love the Phil Heath, the Kai Green. That's why we love all the different people that aren't always the same. Now, of course, there's elements where you just maybe don't push that. I think what's really hurt him was the handshake you can deal with, because in the end, okay, he disliked Nick. He didn't do the handshake. Okay, so what?
It's no biggie.
It's the reaction on stage in front of the judges, in front of the people. It was crazy. So I don't even know. Like everyone, when I was there, everyone was just focusing on Andrew Jack, Nick Walker. Even my camera's facing those two. Like, get the reaction of the winner.
Yeah.
The fact that somebody was actually filming Martin, I was like, what's going through their heads? I think that we might get a reaction from Nick Walker for Martin. If Nick comes second.
I never thought about that, actually.
I was like, who actually thought that was going to actually happen? Now everyone's facing this way, but one person facing Martin.
Yeah, unless it was someone from Martin's kind of circle, no?
Well, if they did, then why would they release that video?
Yeah. Fucking hell. Because that was the catalyst for everything already, I suppose.
That was it. It was just a domino effect from there.
That's crazy. What's your... I know you're short on time, but like, what's the vision then? Have you got anything you can discuss in terms of like what you are looking to put in place for BTS or the year, the next 12 months, say? I
mean, look past 2026 yet, but I'm doing a big part of this year has been doing more partnerships with promoters worldwide.
Yeah.
So a lot of these are in place. we've just saw my relationship with the Arnolds. I got something very, very exciting to announce with Olympia. I'll probably announce in the next few months. So that's really going to be a first for a media outlet to get this opportunity with the Olympia. Obviously, a big focus is now to grow a YouTube channel, not make it reliant on just one outlet, that is Instagram. So that is a big focus there.
So is that an actual BTS TV YouTube channel?
Yeah, so we've got a YouTube channel, which has been very much hit and miss. But we are looking at 5 different weekly episodes, Monday to Friday, that involves different co-hosts to ensure that the channel reaches all people from different divisions, different demographics. So that's a big focus. But for myself this year, it's really... But the North American market is a big focus. So that means me changing my sleep pattern to ensure that I'm reporting on those shows so I can grow the BTS page and focus on that audience. So that's a big focus. So really it is promoter led. It is really building those relationships with the shows. And once we get there, I think really by the end of 2026, I think then BTS, for me, I believe it's the number one media outlet. I think by the end of the year, then it'll be known by everyone as the place to go.
Place to go. Love it, man. I think that's a good point to end it on. It's about an hour, I think. Unless you want to...
It's an hour.
It's an hour, yeah.
I don't know what else. I don't know what else to cover. When's your next show?
My next show is 16th of September.
Wait there. So 16th of September. So that is going to be
let's see how good you are. Remember
I don't know. Obviously, that's going to be a 2 roads regional. So
2 roads regional.
Is that the? I'm going to have a stab here. Is that Christian's show?
No. So Christian's is the last one, isn't it?
See, I thought that was the last one.
I was supposed to be doing the last one, so you're semi-right.
Wales.
No.
Oh, okay.
That's in Richie's is in June.
Is it?
Yeah. So I'm doing Derby.
Okay. Oh yeah, of course, the Ultraflex, the warehouse.
Yeah. So basically, I've got a client doing the Christian show.
Yeah.
So we were I was supposed to be doing that, but then I said, like, I'll do the 2 weeks early, because I'm ready in 14 weeks every time anyway. So I'll do the early one, focus on me, get him on the other one, focus on him, and then we both go up against each other in the British, in the Supers then. So that'd be a cool moment.
So you just picked those 2 shows, or you got the European Pro qualifieds?
So, those are the 2 rows. And then I got the PCA Pro debut, if you want to call it that, which is the day after, obviously, after the British 2 rows. And then the talk is to go back to Milan and see if we can get a little bit better this year. By that point, I think I'll be much more controlled, because that was week 31 of prep in Milan. I mean, I remember speaking to you at some point in my prep when you came down Planet, down the gym. And it was just that last 6 weeks of prep was quite tough. Body just started kind of rolling away from me. So a traditional 16 to 20 week prep. So I should be looking nice and fresh in Milan. And see if we can get the Masters.
Get that Pro card.
Masters Pro card.
That's it.
It's still the goal. Will I do anything with it? Like, I've not really put this out on any content. I've had conversations with people. Like, the reality of it is no, because of my age, because of like time spent in the game. But if I can do it just for myself, to take it off in like, well, you knew me before I even competed. So if I can do it in my little short window of competing, then it's a fucking good, box to tick before I do my swan song,
What's your thoughts of the UK bodybuilding community at the moment?
I love
where
it,
UK is?
I love it. I do love I think the UK scene is probably the best scene in the whole world, really.
Really? In the whole world?
I think so. In terms of like what we represent, we've all got that, I think the UK scene has got that like grit about it, which, yes, you do get it in other pockets around the world, but it's in pockets, because there's the trends as so far and few between now. I think the UK is like got that grit in the palm of his hand, and it's spread right through the country. You do get little bits of other shit here and there, but I think when people think British bodybuilding, when I've been like on my filming trips around the world, they'll always say, it's that fucking Dorian grip and rip kind of thing. So definitely think the UK scene is thriving at the minute.
Yeah.
And I think anyone would agree as well. And that's coming from both athlete and coaching as well. Because I think the coaching scene in the UK now is probably one of the best. You know, they're not doing as much silly shit as you hear elsewhere in the world. They're a lot more savvy. And I think if half the coaches did what we hear other coaches doing elsewhere in the world, we'd be fucking hung from the rafters, man. So what about you? I'll turn it back on yourself. What the amateur scene? Who do you think is going to turn pro this year?
Oh God, I can't think of names off the top of my head. Even though I did some posts the other day
No
on
hints.
like different prospects. I can't. They'll come. I'll answer that at the end if when I once I get a chance to think who are the ones I've been featuring. But in regards to the bodybuilding community, it's obviously in a fantastic place right now. When you got 3 Olympia winners from UK alone in Rhea, Ryan, and Michelle. God, sorry, Michelle. It's clearly
Arnold winner.
Yeah, of course, Arnold winner as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I think it's struggle for anyone to beat that. She's going to be the dominant for the next few years. I think what interests me is the fact that Samson's 40, Ryan is obviously getting older. You would imagine those two, maybe two years, maybe 3 years left at the top. When they choose to walk away, who are the ones to really step into that space? Look, yes, Rhea is Olympia champion, but if we look at the divisions that are like the marquee divisions that hold the big names, it is open, classic, bikini and men's physique. They're the high profile with the mega following. And that's where it's interesting because I'm interested to see who's going to step into that space, not just as a high caliber athlete, but as a personality.
Yeah.
Like Ryan and Samson, the way they are, the way they've been for over, Ryan for over a decade, Samson for, the past really 6 years is when he's coming to his own. We all get excited about Niall Darwin because, of course, he's got age on his side. Yeah. He's in the division that would just get bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's arguably one of the most exciting divisions in the world. So can Niall Darwin be that person?
Be the guy.
He can be 100%.
Yeah.
Who else is there? Who are the current pros that we feel that could step in to be the face of UK bodybuilding when Samson and Ryan do decide to move on? There's a lot of young talent.
I think we're going to have a bit of a, when that does happen, there's going to be a period of time where there is no one, because I don't think any of the younger guys have really come into their own yet, So
because I'm not just talking about someone as in like they're an IFBB pro with a huge following. I'm talking about Olympia winner.
Yeah.
That because now we've had 2 years where UK had 3 winners. Last year was 3. Last year was 3.
Shelley, Rhea,
last year was 3. The year before was 2. Samson and Ryan.
Yeah.
So that's 2024 was joint with 2 other countries. Last year was joint with 2 other countries, North America and Brazil. So UK is riding high, and there was an argument as well for this year that Samson, Ryan, Rhea, Shelley, 4 winners. We can obviously throw Niall in there as well. Obviously, he's got very stiff competition with Mike. But if you put your money on those 4. That would from 2 to 3 to 4. Like, this is a golden period we may never get back in UK bodybuilding. Just remember that. Like, we could potentially be looking at 4 Olympia winners in 1 year.
Yeah.
When could we ever say that?
Yeah.
Because we know how competitive some of these divisions are. And we got guys and girls competing at the highest level. Like, that's mad to think that in a couple of years we could lose that. And then could we look back and think, oh God, I wish we did more to celebrate people like Ryan, Samson, Rhea, Shelley, all those.
When we had the likes of like Flex doing well in the 212, but then there was a lull.
The thing is, in that period where Flex was doing well, like, social media was nowhere near as prominent as it was before. So you will see plenty of Flex on the magazines, but a magazine will come a month out later. What now is with how social media is, You see the scenes with like Dino winning class physique and going back to Brazil, open top bus.
Yeah.
I know the UK will never be at that level of Brazil fandom because, of course, we've got so many sports that bodybuilding has never been able to break into the mainstream.
Get football.
Exactly. You'll never. I just saw some videos in China of like Brandon Hendrickson, Ali Bilal, those guys over there. Like it's absolutely mental for them over there. We saw in Japan at the Mass Olympia
I wonder what it'll take to get the UK scene to be like that.
That is the question, isn't it?
Or do you think people are too kind of, I don't know what the word is really. We're too desensitized to it, to the glow, like to seeing these people. Whereas like the likes of Brazil, China, they don't see it as often. So that's why there's pandemonium.
I think, well, look, in Brazil, all they got is soccer, really. Like that's it. That's what they know. Here, obviously, when you're coming through school and you play all the sports, I'm not sure what the school curriculum system is like these days, where it's like getting people to focus on their fitness and go to gym. There it's like, okay, cricket, football, tennis, combat sports, all of that. You've got all that to play with. It looks different in other countries. It's the same in North America. I mean, look, if it's never been mainstream in North America, where it was once on ESPN, then it's very difficult to see how it can become mainstream in the UK, where it was never even reached the heights. I mean, I remember seeing Ryan Terry won his third Olympia title. The only bit of media coverage mainstream was on the Retford Times. I mean, come on. This is a guy who's been in the sport for well over a decade, been the face.
It just doesn't get the shine, does it?
That's it, and it's very difficult and hard to see that ever changing. Yeah. If it can't make it work now, where we're at, then I don't know how it's going to change in the future. And maybe that's something we just need to accept, that this is our thing, this is our community. But what we can do is to make sure that we celebrate these times that we have right now, because we know one day they'll be gone. We'll miss them,
and we'll have to wait for the next crop to come through.
That's it, and it's exciting to think about the next crop. We see in Brazil, there's so much young talent coming through to try and get to the place that Rafa, Dino, where they're at, Issa on wellness and Elisa on bikini. The men's side, I'm looking forward to see where that goes. Yeah. I'll tell you what, one area that the UK can be world domination is on the IFBB Pro natural scene. I think we can run the show. When you think of Prosper winning Ben Weider. Yeah. You got Toyton. He won his pro card in Spain. He's now IFBB Pro Classic. Yeah. And then you look at the other guys: Joshua Ortiz in men's physique, natural; David Hammond, Sammy Minshall in bikini, Paige in wellness. Because the UK has had a strong history of natural federations always breeding and promoting the natural scene. Of course, now the NPC Pro, the IFBB Pro scene and the natural has only come in the last few years. Yeah. And meant that it's been able to take advantage of the current natural scene in the UK. We've always had a very strong natural community in the UK versus other countries who I believe are probably playing catch up to the UK. Yeah. So there's a great opportunity where the UK is seen as the number one when it comes to natural pro competitors, and Prosper's leading our way in class physique. There's no reason why this year Ben Weider, people like Joshua, David, Paige, Sammy, and then I'm sure there are plenty of others I could be speaking about. The UK can have a solid team and absolutely dominate the Ben Weider Naturals and be seen as number one.
So when is that Ben Weider Nationals?
Oh, that's after Olympia.
Oh, so it's later on in the years.
Yeah.
Because the Olympia's been moved this year, isn't it? What
September. Yeah, last weekend of September. So I know obviously all the winners, apart from the Open from Ben Weider, got qualification to compete at the Olympia. So Prosper will be at the Olympia. He's at Olympia this year as a natural competitor, because he won the Ben Weider last year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but then of course he'll be defending the Ben Weider title. I remember I interviewed him before. He's looking to try and get at least 6 wins in the Ben Weider. But he could play such a prominent part in growing the natural scene. And then you got people like AJ Morris as well, who's built the natural bodybuilding worldwide. That's really grown the natural scene, created a lot of education and done wonderful work for UK scene. And that's why I feel the UK natural scene is built for absolute domination when it comes to the IFBB.
I've never really thought about it. But when you put it like that, when you think natural bodybuilding, you only think UK.
Well, look, in Brazil, my God, when they turn 16, they're already on gear.
Like,
that's it.
You can't
Brazil. You can see Brazil anytime soon in the natural team.
I'm not sure if PMMA comes under the natural
That's it. I mean, you got North America because, of course, they have the other federations as well involved, so they can have some of the natural athletes. But UK, this year, I think now look at it. This year could be incredible. This year we could be looking at Olympia with 4 Olympia winners. Then going into Ben Weider, 3 or 4 Ben Weider winners from the UK. Not to mention how stacked the UK amateur ranks is. No reason why the UK amateur ranks can't hit 50 IV Pro card winners this year alone. Then you got also how many people could potentially qualify for Olympia. Definitely going to be harder if you're men's physique or bikini or classic, but you've got to do 2 wins. So it'll be interesting to see if we can match the numbers we had last year, which was around 17, I believe.
17
Olympians, which is going to be a lot more difficult because now those like Tyler, Yemi, Omar, they all had to just win 1 show. Now they got to win 2 shows. So it's definitely more challenging. They obviously can.
Is Tyler continuing?
Well, he's doing the Arnold Classic, isn't he? He's doing the UK show.
Right, okay.
So I'm not sure.
I should be following because he's coached by Carl, so I should be following along. My bad.
And he should definitely be looking at like the Masters shows as well, but he could rip apart any Masters Pro class.
Yeah, it's pretty wild with the scene when you think about it, and that's why I said like the UK scene, it's got it.
I mean 2026 could be such a huge year, and that's where I get people all the time like say, why can't I do more on the UK side? And there is part of me thinking, well, look, North America, they got like 10, 12 media outlets. Phil, you'd be more than welcome to create additional media outlets. It doesn't need to be just one. You can, if you want to focus one that focuses on the amateur or one that focuses on natural. If you can feel that you could play a part in growing or supporting the UK community, absolutely.
But could they keep up with what you've already put out the end of the brand?
But it doesn't need to be compete against myself. It could be your own thing, and I'm happy to support any way I can.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So, yes, we're not going to get the mainstream recognition for bodybuilding. We may never get it. So let's just focus on the bubble we have, that is the UK bodybuilding community. And if there is something that you can create that's going to further enhance that or support that, then go do it. Don't rely on other people. If you can do something, go create yourself. That is why the UK has more federations than any other country, because of how passionate people are of the sport.
Yeah. I love it, man. You're thinking. You're thinking. I was going to, as you were talking there about the amateur scene and that, obviously we spoke before we started recording about like me maybe changing direction slightly with this. Now, obviously, if I'm going to be going around with the amateur guys, I think we spoke briefly about this before. We could even look at that, where we do something together in terms of me putting interviews out with the amateur guys. There's potential there that we could do that, in terms of like in-person, like high quality content that could be put out under the BTS banner in some way. We'll speak. It's just a thought I had there. Because I'm definitely, because of where I'm at, in terms of like, I'm like you in NFM UK in 2023, where my 1 foot's in, 1 foot's out with bodybuilding. Like, obviously I'm going all in at the moment, but I know there's a shelf life for me, but I still want to be in it after that. Which obviously coaching plays its part there, but in terms of the media aspect and everything like that, that's definitely something I want to continue with. So it could be, we could have a conversation perhaps.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, man, I want to just say thank you for your time. What's this, 1 hour 15, 1 hour 20, something like that?
Good luck for people who try and get through all that. Let me know when they clock off.
Some clips there. Is there anything you'd like to say to the viewers from the guys that follow you, support you, share your stuff, or shout out and anything like that?
Look, I appreciate everyone that does follow the channel, but I guess I appreciate all the people that do step on stage with it. They're the ones, without them, I can't create any content.
Yeah.
So, my aim is to keep supporting the UK community as much as I can. I know there's been times where maybe I've dropped the ball and not supported as much as I can. 2026 is definitely a big focus, which is why I built a relationship with Two Bros, which is why I created a free event in February to do something first time ever in the UK. And I've got a lot more ideas on what I'll try and do, and other collaborations that can hopefully support the bodybuilding community. In the end, anyone can support that community. It all depends on what is their strengths. Some do it as an athlete, some do it as a coach, some do it as a media personality, or whatever it can be. For myself, obviously, as a media outlet, is to try and do more while also keep growing the BTS brand, and hopefully we'll see where it is at the end of the year. But there's a lot of things happening. It's going to be it's exciting. So we'll see where we're at by end 2026. No doubt we'll do one of these maybe next year and reflect on the years gone by.
Yeah, we'll do a year by year growth. I'm sure it's just going to continue to bang, man, because it's doing well. It's doing well. And
I appreciate it.
It's great to see, man. So thank you very much.
I know. Once again, thank you so much for your time as well. People may not know, but we organise this on the busiest day in Cheltenham. We've done it not only during Cheltenham Festival, but day of the Gold Cup. Where all the roads were up to gridlock, and the hotel price will quadruple the price.
We're obviously not horse racing fans.
I know. It wasn't until I started seeing everyone's students like, what is going on? Oh, guys, Gold Cup day.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, mate. No, I think I picked a Friday, but no. What you're doing as well. I think we should also take a time as well to recognise the fact that not just like the media outlets, but there are people that's been in the industry like yourself for what? 12 years?
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years. We've seen a lot of people come and go. And there's very few that's stayed the test of time from what you've done to still be part of it and not have maneuvered away from it. And you're still involved. You've expanded, you enhanced. I say enhanced.
No pun intended. Literally.
You enhance the quality of what you're doing, and you're showing no signs of slowing down while still giving back to the community. Your coaching business expanding. You achieve one goal in regards to one pro card. You want to achieve a second goal, which of course is that IFBB pro card. No reason why you can't achieve it.
1 sec. Oh. What's the transfer?
that was our timeout.
I might keep that in.
That's it. I was like, what? Oh, sure, kept talking. There's no reason why come the end of the year you can't lift that whatever colour pro card that Italy has over your head, because the hard work that you put in over the years is testament to that. So a lot of recognition to yourself for all the work you've done in well over a decade, and the stuff you mentioned to me before this as well. I'm looking forward to seeing the new avenues you take on. No doubt you'll be successful in that as well.
Appreciate that, man. Thank you very much. Much love. So that is it. We have got the man behind the brand on camera. So I want to thank you all for watching, listening on Spotify, watching on the YouTube. There's plenty more to come. Stay tuned with what Suki has up his sleeve for BTS TV. No doubt he's going to be keeping crushing it. And I will see you on the next one. So thank you very much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next episode. Peace.